I believe if you are here, you have already gone through our HTML tutorial. So here is our CSS tutorial. CSS is just to beautify your website from your font size, font family, to color, animation, and others. So we start off with creating our HTML file. So this is our normal HTML code. So in CSS, there are three ways you can write CSS, which are inline CSS, internal CSS, and external CSS. We're starting off with inline CSS. Assuming we have something like header 1, code visualize. As we did previously, we copy part, then we paste it on our browser. Then we have code visualize here. So inline CSS looks like this. We add the style, then let's add a color and a color to the text and a background color. So let me say color. Let's choose color from here. Let's do brown. Then we choose background color. Let's choose blue. Then hit save and refresh your web page. Now it takes on the color. We added it. Inline CSS looks like this, but it's not actually a good practice to use inline CSS, except in some cases. So internal CSS works with style tag. If we use the style tag, then instead of style tag now, let's call this h1 with the same design we used. Then we call the h1 tag. Then we move to giving it the color. We gave it brown before, or let's give it the violet now, and give it a background color too. Let's give it blue. If you hit save and refresh, see it takes on the color. It's affecting it here and when we wrote it before inside the tag here. This one is the internal CSS. Then let's use the external CSS. External CSS works with CSS file. So with that we need to create a CSS file. Let's call it style.css. So inside this file, that's where we'll be writing our code. Let's take this, add it into our style, and we delete it from here. Hit save. Also save. Make sure you save your file before trying to know that your code is working. Save and refresh. Our code is not working. So we have to link our CSS file to our HTML file. How do we do it? Then we have a link tag that provides us with that, whereby it has the style sheet. Then here, this ref now is trying to point to where the CSS file is stored. Sometimes it might not be stored here. So let's do something. You're in organizing your work well, create an outside folder. Inside the outside folder, we create a CSS folder also, where we put any of our CSS file. Then if you take it into that place, yes, move. So we have our style.css now in our CSS folder. So probably now it won't be working. Let's link it to that place. Add assets, then CSS, then style sheet. then style.css. Now it's also linked to the file. Then if you save and refresh, you see that it's also working. This is the best practice. External CSS is the best practice. It will be more easier for you to identify the problem or sort out the problem when you code your CSS outside your HTML. So another thing I want to point out is CSS has three essential selectors. What do I mean by selector? The HTML tags is an element selector in CSS. That's why we're able to style the header h1 with this tag h1. You can also implement something class selector. If you use class selector, I can call the class selector anything at all. Let's just use code. Then now you can style that class selector. Let's I want this to make the code not to work. You can style the class selector using dot. Then the name of the class, we named it code. Then let's give it color. Give it color of white. Then background color of brown. You hit save and refresh, it takes on the color. Now we are using class selector for this. This is class selector. Then let's check another one. We have ID selector. When we use our ID, let's name it coding now. Coding. You can name it whatever you want, whatever you wish to name it. So in using ID selector, you have to use hash. This is the you have to use hash and write the name of the ID. You can name it color. You can name it any color you wish. Let's use hex code now. Hex code refers to hash FFFF. It's either 6 or 3, but the best practice most times to get a perfect color you need is 3, sorry, 6. To get a perfect color is 6. So you can get so many colors you want from this. But let me copy this right now and search on it on Google. Now, if you try into Google, Google has this color picker. So you can move around, you can move this here, you can hover on it to get a perfect color. And you can come here to copy the hex code. Come here to copy the hex code. Let's copy this one and make it our background color. Make it our background color. So if you hit save and refresh, you see it takes on the whole thing. So you can get any color you want. Don't think you can any color you want on this edge should be here. You can override any color at all you want. Should be here. So you can also color with AGB. Let's add an AGB color here. Let's remove this one. So this is AGB color. Sorry, RGB color. RGB color. RGB color needs 3 of these things. I think it's mixing red with green and blue. I think that's the essential color. Let's still use this here. 55, 72, and 115. If you hit save and refresh, yeah, it takes on the color. So there are many ways to the major ways to apply color to CSS is number one, text code, the normal color that's available here, and the RGB. You can also use the color pad in Visual Studio Code. You can drag anywhere to take the colors you need. Do the same thing, but it mainly offers you RGB code. You can also use it, you can apply, let's say at 555, that's for white. If you want it, you can apply anything. Okay, it also gives you haze code too. You also need to get a perfect color you need. It applies it immediately, save and refresh. It gives you what you added. So on this course, I don't want to make it more of essay or showing you what CSS is all about. You have to understand one thing, that CSS has a selector, number one, a property, and then the value of the property. This is the pattern CSS takes. So whatever CSS you are writing, it takes this pattern, the selector, where you are trying to apply the code, then the property, what kind of thing do you want to do, then the value, that thing you want to do, what kind of value do you want to give it. There are many properties, and many there are many properties you wish to apply. You can come here, use control spacebar. You see so many properties you can add. There are too many properties you can add to here. There are too many properties. So with that, we're going to design a website like this. We're going to design a website like this, where you have a menu bar with a logo, a menu bar, the over on it. It's changes color, background color, with a text here, as this is with a form. You can type in and submit it, and the footer, and also making it responsive. If it comes to a mobile device, it's you can only access the menu bar by clicking here, and you can access the menu bar. That is making it responsive, and every other thing in your normal desktop or laptop view, it takes two sides. If you are in your phone, it will take the 100% width of each of them to make it readable easily. Then and these two, going to design something like this. Then you're going to see it also without HTML and with HTML. You see the difference and the impact HTML made in making this website look nice like this. So with that being said, let's get on